Hello and welcome to another episode of Becoming Enchanted with the Rustic Spirit. I feel like I've been doing this all week. I'm your host, Stacey Lee.
I'm Gary Lee.
I literally have been behind the camera all week, my own podcast, but also I've been on a couple others this week. So this has been my seat for the past week. I have one more tomorrow. John Covey and I are doing blood moon readings for everyone. So I'm just going to spend my week at the computer. So it's so nice to have everybody here. Let's see who's here. Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you again. You were on our podcast last week. John Covey's going to be on tomorrow. I know you've had some readings. Kristen, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for everybody being here. I am definitely feeling the full moon energy. Are you feeling it? Like the eclipses tonight? Like I'm feeling like my energy is just everywhere. Very chaotic. You feel that way?
I feel exhausted today.
Exhausted. Yeah. That's part of that full moon stuff. So let's get some of the housekeeping done. And then we're going to bring our guest on tonight. So obviously we're the Become Enchanted with Rustic Spirit podcast. We're live on Thursdays at 8:30. Although we do special episodes here and there. We used to be on Tuesdays. Now we're on Thursdays. There's been some back and forth about if we're going to stay on Thursdays. We'll see. But you can find us, if you cannot find us live, on Facebook and YouTube. We're always on YouTube, past episodes. We're also on Spotify, iHeart, and I did just get a notification from Apple that we are on Apple, and we are like number 15 in some UK country. So it's funny how like over in the UK you can get things can become more popular than you think. We are introducing our Spirit Flames by the Rustic Spirit. We have 4 different intention candles right now, and we're adding more. In this spring, we're going to be making some candles. We have Self, which is about self-love, acceptance, and healing. Divine Healer, that's great for the spiritual worker. Reiki, any of that. Protection, obviously, that's my big thing. We're all could use some more protection. And then By the Light of the Moon, which saving the best for last. This is the one I'm burning tonight. This is the one that's lit. And this is what we're going with tonight because the moon is here. And it is a full blood moon. I think it goes full sometime in the wee hours. I think totality for the eclipse is like 2:30 start. Spring Awake Fair, that is coming up here on the 29th. It is in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It is celebrating life and the afterlife. It is at the Holiday Inn. Yes, Holiday Inn in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It is going to be an amazing event. Definitely come out and check it out if you are in the area. And then one of our sponsors, Snarly Yow, historically cryptid in West Virginia, snarlyyow.com. He is doing some events, and this is where I messed up the slides and didn't fix them. This is not his event, so we're going to go to his events real quick. Snarly Yow, he has one April 12th. It's Cryptids and Curiosities, halfway to Halloween. And Rats and Reapers, the big event that's happening at Thick and Thin Brewery. Okay, can you hear us? Raise your hand in the background if you can hear us now. Okay. Sorry. I should also mention Mercury has gone retrograde today, and it controls communications and a lot of these other technology stuff. So that was a little crazy. Let me start my camera back up. So Rats and Reapers are the biggest event that they're having in August. It is a car show. Okay, so you can't see me. Can you see slides that are up?
Oh, this thing's turn. It's computer's turn.
Okay. Okay. So you shouldn't see me right now. I should be off to the left of the screen. You should see the slides. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure they just didn't see me over here. You should be seeing the slides, everybody. Okay. This is, yeah, see, full moon energy, Mercury retrograde. This is just the craziness of it. So yes, these are his events. Please go check it out at snarlyyal.com. And then we're going to go back to our other sponsor. And this is, they're looking for vendors, the Johnstown Masonic Lodge, Cryptids and Supernatural Expo. And that is in September. And they are, you can go to their website at wpacase.com to apply to be a vendor. And our other sponsor is Maine Paranormal and HorrorCon. This is Jeff and Ashley, September 6th and 7th in Augusta, Maine. I'm very excited about this event. Everybody's getting very excited about the event. The vendor booths have sold out and the tickets are selling pretty quickly. So get on the website at mainparahorror.com, and they have general admission. They have the single day for $25 right now. You can get your discount now. Definitely get your discount now by buying tickets online. It's going to cost you more at the door. So right now it's $25 for general admission, $40 for the weekend, and $60 for the VIP ticket. That's the whole weekend pass. And then the VIP weekend pass with the dinner party is $120. That is going to be amazing. And then Patty Negri mediumship is $35. Please go check that out at mainparahorror.com. And then our other sponsor is the Doss House. It's a cozy place to investigate this winter, although winter is almost over in 7 more days, and winter is done and out the door. They have a Creep It Real Festival that are coming up June 21st. They are also looking for vendors, although it's filling up fast. So send application to the Doss House 278@gmail.com. They will be on short in a few weeks. All of the special guests and special speakers are going to come on, and we're going to talk about the event. That's going to be a great little podcast. And that's not our guest tonight. So let's start. This is the kind of night it is. It's just one of those nights. I'm just going to laugh. So tonight we are featuring Compass of Curiosities. That is one of my friend's podcasts. The host, unfortunately, is not feeling well. I'm sure you saw Russ, his post earlier. If you're friends with him, he is not doing very well. So his co-host, Ian, the moderator, has come on, who has his own podcast as well, and is also part of Warner Paranormal. Wait, Warner.
Paranormal.
Yeah, this is how my day is going to go. So we're just going to bring him on. Hi, Ian. Roll your eyes at me. Go ahead. I know. My monster is wearing off.
Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. It's a mouthful.
I knew there was preservation in there somewhere. And I'm like, is it preservation paranormal? And yeah. So I was like, whatever. I'm just going to bring you on. So you do a lot of things for Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. That is up there in Massachusetts, or are they just Northeast?
Yes. Nope. We are primarily on the south coast of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah. We have 2 locations, 2 buildings and a few other locations under our purview that we manage for historic societies and run events at and things like that. Yep.
Okay. So your main thing with that is to preserve history and bring money into some of these locations that need renovating and stuff like that. Is that correct? Is that what Warner does?
Whether it's renovation, operating capital, or anything like that, we come in, we assist, we host events, we lead events, just to really drive awareness to the location as well as to some of the spirits that are in there, because a lot of the locations, especially in the Northeast, do typically have some activity that cannot be explained through any other means but the supernatural.
Yeah, I know. I used to live I lived in Connecticut, but not far from Mass. And oh my goodness, there's just so much. There's so much history there.
Oh, yeah.
And a
I
lot
mean, you
of
figure
stuff.
one of our principal buildings was built in 1899. It is the last remaining full wood frame function hall. It is the oldest
Wow.
remaining all wood function hall.
Oh, wow. So I
Yeah.
wonder, just imagine what the
1899.
things were done there, the parties that were held, the functions that were held.
Plenty of weddings. We haven't had any evidence of funeral yet, but we tend to get updates from the town historian quite a bit. As funds have come into the building, they've been able to kind of expand their expenditures on learning more about it. We did get to find out that it's been a school twice. It's been an impromptu field clinic. Nothing for, not like a tuberculosis hall or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was at one point the temporary way stop for a group of Oddfellows that had lost their building. So they used it for storage and supposedly never had any ceremonies or anything there, but there seems to be quite a bit of accoutrement still left over from when they were there. So there's some doubt on whether or not they were actually practicing whatever it is they did out of that.
Whatever it is they did. Very secret society type stuff.
Extremely, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they were. I think they're the one that we know least about too, like when in history.
It is, yeah. I mean, as far as the rites and rituals, there are definitely some like manuals that have been found and recovered, and I've been able to read through a couple of them. But for the most part, the nature of the meetings, what actually took place, what the whole mission statement of the organization is, still relatively unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one that we haven't done a lot of research on. Maybe I should do some research on. Not that I'm going to find anything, but I'll find a lot of skepticism and theory and stuff like that. So, so that's great. I love what you guys do. I know you guys hold an event too, because we were talking last year about coming up there for the event. When do you guys do your event in what, September, or is that?
So we
fall?
typically have 2 fairs every year. One towards Christmas time, which is the November. And then usually we have another one during the spring months.
Okay.
More of like a local kind of craft, get to know the building fair, less to do with the paranormal, but we do have typically palm readers and some odds and ends dealers. A lot of wet specimens seem to be pretty popular up here. So if you're looking to get, your taxidermy on, we got folks there.
Yeah. I love the oddities, like the oddities stuff. I like that stuff. Sadie's like, wait, what practices where I got distracted? I think we were saying we don't know what practices.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the long and the short of it is we have an idea of kind of their opening, ceremony for meetings. We have an idea of how they, held the meetings, which if you have a Moose Lodge, Elks Lodge, Eagles, or anything like that, it's very similar to fraternal organizations today that still have the same incarnations, same kind of procedures and processes.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the Moose Lodge. I know we're like, this is a very laid back show. We don't have any timelines of what we have to talk about, but you mentioned that Moose Lodge. I think it's Moose Lodge. And I went, my ex-husband was in a band and he would play at different places, and he played at Moose Lodge once. And I was really creeped out by the little boy. Is that the Moose Lodge? It has the boy there's this picture of this child boy that they honor at their opening ceremonies.
Oh, I can tell you with certainty it is neither the Eagles nor the Elks.
I think it's the Moose Lodge. I'm going to look it up. Little boy.
Probably not what you want in your search history, Stacy.
Incognito. Yeah, is the Moose Lodge. Hold on, I don't even know where it's at. But the one I was at was in the middle of nowhere in the country, and we went in there to play this gig, and it was New Year's Eve, and they did their whole ceremony to start. They have to start with their ceremony, and it was very weird. They just were all like honoring this boy that was in this picture. I'm like, oh, I'm a social worker. This is freaking creeping me out.
Yeah, that is a bit odd. Yeah, I don't know. I unfortunately I'm not familiar with the Moose Lodges at all.
Yeah, I said, it was the first time I've ever been, and last time, so it's stuck in my memory.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's stuck in my memory. Okay, yeah, little boy saying his prayers at 9:00. That's what they honor. A little boy saying his prayers at 9:00.
Oh.
Yeah. Frank, and the boy's name is actually Frank Pavlik, was the little curly head from 1960 to 1962. Oh, they keep changing it. I don't know. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole right now. That might be for later. Afterward, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. Anyway, so you do the Warner Preservation Paranormal Preservation Society.
Yep.
You are co-host on Compass of Curiosities. That's a recent addition with Russ.
Yes. Yeah, I started doing it with Russ. Russ asked if I would co-host a couple of episodes because he was having some just kind of focus issues. I mean, when you're on podcasts, you're doing podcasts constantly. It's not always easy to kind of keep everything interesting and keep everything moving. You can kind of stagnate sometimes and you get kind of complacent with it. So he had asked me to come on a couple times as a guest. And then we just kind of fielded questions from the corners, and I've known Russ for going on probably a decade now, somewhere in that space. And so, I had no problem jumping on. I do my own. Well, for a while I was doing my own show, which is coming back at the end of this month. But so I had some free time, hopped on, went really well. Everything kind of vibed really well. We had a good time with it. And so he asked if I would just stay on board and kind of run with it. And I know he had some difficulties with a previous host with just banter and speaking over each other and stuff. And he felt really comfortable with the way that, he and I interacted and he and I kind of played on. So it just kind of meshed, and it wasn't really, he was nervous about a few different things, but everything played out really well, and we're having a good time with it.
Yeah. And you guys are doing amazing. Actually, I love the energy you two have together. It really, you feed off of each other, and you have this very real energy, and I do like it. I think it was a good addition. Not that Russ can't hold his own, because he can, but it brings new light.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. My shoulders hurt every time I get off a show with him. It's because carrying it is so difficult.
I know he's not on here, so he can't rebuke.
Well, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's watching.
I'm waiting. He's got to be watching somewhere. I haven't seen him in the comments yet. Russ,
I'll suss him out. I'll get him out. I'll get him talking. He might be trying to enter the stage right now to cuss at me.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
But no, we have a good time with it, and I think that is one of the most important things for me when I do these kind of shows and when I do my show. And again, my show is so different than what he and I do. I am very much feeding the part of my brain that doesn't care if people are following, and I'm just kind of diving into things and just like really trying to add some kind of logical process to an illogical experience.
Yeah, you're very philosophical. You like to talk about deeper subjects, but you like to push the boundaries of those deeper subjects, which I appreciate. Now your show, I know you're like, we have some beef or back and forth with the shows.
Oh no, it's not that we have beef. It's just you constantly jump on my day, and it makes it impossible for me to even watch your show. And so, you were on my night. I decide, you know what, I'm not going to do my night anymore. And then you moved your night like the next week, but that's okay.
I know it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't to compete with you at all. I
Oh,
didn't
I know.
even
It's
know
not-
that you had moved your night. I had no idea.
What do you mean you didn't get the
So-
you didn't get the universal podcast memo that
No,
I was
yeah,
changing my night? I
universal
thought that went
email.
out to the whole world.
No, it's not. But
gotta get on
it
the
was
list.
funny. I'm like, oh no, you're going Thursday nights now. Cause I also like one of my good friends is also here on Thursday nights and she starts at 8. So I was on for a half an hour before, and commenting. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is just like, we don't work on Fridays. So this works best for us. But, it is. So everybody, this is my direct competitor at the end of the month. But people do that. People jump back and forth. When I'm like Monday night, I'll listen to Russ for a little bit. I'll jump over here and then I'll come back and forth to different podcasts. So, I don't feel like there's a competition per se. I think it is.
No, and I think especially there's such a wide variety of content. Like it's such a different content that when I'm like on my own and I'm doing one of my own shows, like I don't have a co-host, I don't have anyone reeling me in. 9 times out of 10, I don't even have a guest. I'm just diving into information.
A bell. I have
no.
a bell that stops me from saying things that I shouldn't say.
Well, so Russ and I have a rule on that too. At any point, we are allowed to kick the other one off stage.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah. But when I'm on my own show, it really is just me being me. And because there's no one else that is, going to be held accountable for the things that come out of my mouth, I'm genuinely not going to, good morning, Damien. No sleeves. I'm giving them up. Ever since I was accused of being an arms dealer on Facebook, I refuse to wear sleeves in any broadcast.
Can you talk about that? Or
I mean, I wasn't like indicted. So
I'm just saying, like, Russ messaged me because he knows my fear because I've been getting blocked left and right from people and I have no idea why. Like, I do know why. I get it. I'm not going to go into that. I don't want to go into it. But then he immediately says, hey, just to let you know, Ian didn't block you. I know how you would worry. He just lost his Facebook. He did.
Yeah.
He knows that I would like, oh my God, why did he block me?
Yeah, no. I'm sure there's tons of people that are like, oh, he blocked me, that bitch, I already know, like, there's an entire camp of people that are probably like super pumped that they think they finally got to me. Sadly, they didn't. No, I woke up Sunday morning a couple of weeks ago to a notice that my Facebook had been suspended. And I put in my appeal, and my appeal was immediately declined. It said that I had violated the Facebook firearms policy because I was attempting to distribute and sell firearms, which I thought was interesting because, with an accusation like that, you would assume they'd need evidence of it. And being as that it's never happened, there isn't any.
I've never seen a firearms post for you.
No, and I am actually I am a Second Amendmenter. I think safe gun ownership and smart gun ownership is important. But I think part of being a smart gun owner is not consistently advertising to the world that you are a gun owner. Because if it's for personal safety and defense and someone knows you have it.
Hunting.
Or hunting, yeah. And if the deer are on Facebook, they're going to see you coming. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where like I think that that's part of my private life, and it's not something that like I'm blasting on social media. And so yeah, it was interesting. It was strange to wake up to that notification.
Did someone report you, or I guess we don't know that.
No, it just said it didn't say like someone had reported me. It just said that, here's your notice, your profile is in violation. And then when I submitted the appeal, having no access to my Facebook whatsoever in this period, it came back with, your profile is still in violation, as if almost like accusing me of not fixing it, with not having access. So I took a couple weeks off. I took like a week or two off. Thought it was hilarious. It was peaceful. I highly recommend it.
I did. I take some time off every once in a while.
My wife was incredibly frustrated that she was unable to send me reels anymore, and so I got a new Facebook, which is a wild story in and of itself that I will not tell on on a podcast or a show, because it's strange.
Tell me later.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really interesting. It was a strange thing, and I think that it has a lot to do with the messaging I did have on my Facebook.
Like personal messages, private messages?
No,
or
just
like the comments and stuff.
The comments and the different kinds of posts that I was making, especially as of late. I grew up on SLC Punk. And I grew up on, the mindset that the wealthy really don't ever have your best interest at heart.
I'm a punk girl too, so
yeah, and so a lot of my posts are very slanted towards the whole, if you think, some tech billionaire is going to be your knight in shining armor and he's going to come save you. I think you missed the fact that he's been just trying to sell you for the past 30 years.
Exactly.
And so
Sadie says you're in a real relationship.
Yeah.
Wife sends you reels.
Relationship.
All the time.
Yeah, it's so a lot of my comments are criticisms of the oligarchy that exists in modern America. And and it's just weird that Zuck just really got me shut down, claiming I was distributing firearms when in reality I was just distributing weapons of information.
And that's more what you do. Like when I read your stuff, like that's what it sounds like to me. It is very anarchy. I hate to use the word anarchy. Sovereign citizen. We're going to use sovereign citizen.
No, I don't believe in the sovereign citizenship.
Okay. He does.
Well, here's the thing. Sovereign citizenship is impossible. In my opinion, sovereign citizenship is impossible because you're relying on infrastructure and a social contract that if you're a sovereign citizen, you aren't partaking in the social contract.
Yeah.
And so that's my only gripe with the whole sovereign citizen movement is like, okay, well, like you can be a sovereign citizen. That's awesome. But like, you better get a fucking big ass truck and start paving roads, because otherwise you're part of a society. You're part of an infrastructure.
Yeah.
So yeah, but now like, and again, I have far less issue with a sovereign citizen than I do a billionaire. Yeah, because I mean the billionaire actually is a sovereign citizen. They get to make up their own rules. They don't have to follow standard laws. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. With enough money, anyone can be free.
It's funny how money is. What is that phrase you say? Money is the currency. Hold on, oh no, that's something different. That phrase you always say about money is something the currency of. Oh no, I don't have it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And he's looking at me.
Are you talking about laws are just threats made by the socioeconomic dominant force of a nation, and merely a promise of violence enacted by the laws are merely the promise of violence enacted by the socioeconomic dominant force of any nation?
That's what I was talking about. There's nothing to do with money in there, but for some reason I thought there's another quote about money, and that is, but that one, Gary, when I first met him, he's very into like that sovereign citizen thing. But I think, like you said, that's not really what he means. He just doesn't want to be part of this oligarchy. He doesn't want to play into these societal roles of what we should and should do, and the upper class, middle class, lower class, like, because it's not gonna be long. The middle class is going to be done with.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think that heralds back to more of like a genuine American thought process where the individual is priority until the whole is at risk. And then the individual's responsibility is to ensure the promise of the whole. And so the idea that somehow we don't want to be a part of this society, but simultaneously we will protect the society in which we are being our independent selves is genuinely like the fundamental core of what Americana is. So like, I'm allowed to be me, you're allowed to be you. I don't have to like you, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like the things I do, I don't have to like the things you do. But when we as a whole are at risk, we should be in that moment shoulder to shoulder with common goal.
Yeah. 9/11, for example. I'm going to call it out.
Yeah, I mean, you've never seen a country collectively disregard racism for the sake of a new racism as a unified front. From
the same place their main idol of their religion came from. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Well, as an ordained minister, I will say this: every European religion has its origins in the Middle East, not just
Jesus was from Nazareth.
Modern European, the Gaelic Celts, and a few others, the Gaulish Panagrians. I think it sounds like pagans, but it's not actually pagan. Yeah, I mean, there's a few that isn't, but those have just kind of survived because of history books. But yeah, I mean, Muslim, Judaism, and Christianity are all the same faith with different leaders. Judaism and Muslim, the two oldest of the pairings, with Muslim being the 13th tribe that was exiled according to the Torah, with Muhammad, the new prophet, coming years later. Actually, after Jesus, Muhammad showed up after Jesus, because Muhammad did recognize Jesus as a prophet. If I'm getting the timeline correct, I believe I'm correct on this. If I'm not,
you're correct on that. Yeah, I think you are.
And of course, Jesus being the fulfillment of the Judaic faith, right? So they're all the same, right? And one of the funnier things is I had an entire episode about the Holy Trinity across religions and the.
Oh, I didn't see that episode.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
On YouTube.
There's a lot of the same stories, even in Native American culture. A lot of the same stories with different names and faces and throughout a lot of the religions.
Well, you know that Jesus is the 13th character in faith chronologically. Like he was the 12th or 13th. I think he was the 13th. The 13th virgin-born, Holy Spirit bred, left for his teenage and early 20s to return to prophesy in his 30s, was killed by the people that he was attempting to prophesy to, and had a divine father who would resurrect him within a week. So there was literally a dozen.
Right?
What's that?
Odin's son.
Well, Thor never actually got resurrected. Odin did.
Because
Odin put himself on the tree in an attempt to gain knowledge. He actually sacrificed himself to himself to gain the knowledge of magic.
There's a spin-off show about that recently on I think it's on Netflix. We were watching a couple episodes, and that guy from I forget his name, but he plays Odin, and it's very much the energy of Odin, of how he only worried about himself type of thing.
Oh, are
You'll
you
have
are you
to,
talking about are you talking about Ian McShane in American Gods?
is that no, it's another one. I'm going to find it.
He did a
Not,
wonderful job portraying Odin.
no, this is a very comedic modern take on Greek
Oh no,
mythology.
that wasn't Odin. That was actually Zeus, and
Zeus. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of
you're talking about
Zeus.
Jeff
Never
Goldblum
mind.
in Chaos.
Chaos. Yes.
Yes,
Sorry, I
that is
had
actually a
the
wonderful depiction of Greco-Roman gods
yes.
because it actually is not beyond the mythology of the gods for that to be how they are now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was very real.
Yeah, well, so unlike a lot of the other gods, I think the Greek gods really had the highest humanity levels in their faults and their insecurities and things like that. I
Well, they
mean,
were
you have
technically still humans. They lived
no,
among the humans, right?
no, no.
Okay.
The Greek gods were gods.
Okay. Oh no, they had children and they had that's right. I'm thinking of the ones that
Yeah, and then you
were
get
half
like
gods.
Hercules,
Yes.
Perseus,
Yes.
and there's
Yeah. Yeah.
um but I mean, a human could become a god by eating the fruit of ambrosia, which is like the essentially the Greek tree of life.
Yeah.
If you had ate the fruit, you would be
You
granted
would eat the fruit
immortality and
if you ate the
divine power.
fruit.
Yep,
Back to,
tree of
sorry, I
knowledge
have
almost, right?
ADHD. Yeah, I have ADHD, so I know we're jumping, but yeah, it is. There is so much, like you said, Jesus was the 13th in this
Either like the
realm.
12th or 13th, there was his origin story has been repeated through multiple religions
Mhm.
all throughout history, well predating Christianity.
Yeah.
Um, and so, I mean, but also it would make sense that that kind of thing would happen in a book where you have a character, you have an individual who quite literally existed for 1400 years. The longest aged person in the entire uh, Judeo-Christian Muslim religious texts is Gilgamesh,
Yeah.
who the last time we see him is 1368 years old. We didn't see him die. He's
Yeah.
just that
Some
old when he
say
shows up
he
for the last
is.
time.
Yes. Some theorists out there have saying like he's even still alive today. I've heard that. Yeah, like the offshoots and
Well,
stuff. But
there's there's the theorists that say Gilgamesh would still be alive. There's other ones that say that he wasn't actually human. Others say that he was
so maybe
Atlantean.
Bigfoot.
Huh? Oh, no way he's Bigfoot because he was water based. All the mythology around
Oh, that's
him
right. Water based.
is that
Yeah.
he's like that
Yes.
he would come to and from the ocean. He
Yeah.
would rise out of the ocean, like he would rise in his
Hmm.
ship or his boat out of the ocean,
Yeah.
and come to land to deal with people. Um, and so, of course, that spins off to the idea that is he from Atlantis? Is he an alien in the ocean? Is it even the same person? Is it a robot? Like, is it
Well,
sentient
Lemurian.
AI?
Have you heard about the island of Lemuria? Do you know that it's very similar to Atlantis, but it's
Are you talking
the
about
more
the
of
one they just found recently?
no. This is another theory, more like Atlantean alien type. But this was beings that were able to like it was almost they were see through. They were just more almost spirits,
Oh,
and they could
oh, oh.
communicate.
Okay, no. I
Like
thought you were talking about a place that was
ESP.
actually found. You're
No,
talking about the ghost continent.
yeah, similar, yes, but
What do you have?
it's an ancient legend of a continent. It's not in the ocean. I think it's more in the air of these
Probably not.
beings that could.
I was doing it earlier. She made a question. Can I go take pictures?
Yes, you may go take pictures of the moon. Sorry.
Thanks, Burton.
Um. So, like they would communicate through telepathy and stuff like that. So it's very alien. You have to look it up. Do some research on it. I haven't done all of my research on it, but it was supposed to happen before Atlantis. And then when Atlantis started to communicate through voice and technology and all this stuff, that's where like the Lemurian went away. It was more of this telepathy type of communication of intertwined souls.
Yeah, Brittany, this is the one that I'm thinking of then. If it's in the Indian Ocean, this was originally proposed in like the mid 1800s as a potential land bridge coming off the Indian continent down through the Australian prior to the tectonic shifts.
Okay.
I know this one, yeah. I know this island, yep. And it was like in the
Akashic records. Yes.
I think the first thing about it was it I think in the 60s or 70s the theory started coming out around it having some kind of connection to not only the Akashic but the oh shit, what the hell are they called?
I love Sadie. She's so real because aliens live in the oceans for sure. I'm with you there.
Aliens.
The
Anunnaki.
Anunnaki. Yes.
The Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki. Yes.
Yeah.
Which some theorize that is the creation of all. Like they created all. Like that's where we started from, was the Anunnaki. The land of Mu. That's it.
I have heard of this, yeah. I don't know how much credence I give to it, but I have heard of it. I'll definitely check it out a little bit more. It's nothing I've like dove into like wholeheartedly. Only because the ocean's fucking terrifying if you think about it.
We've explored more of space than we have of our ocean.
Yeah.
Like we can't go down there. We physically can't go down there.
We can if we're billionaires. Just gonna have to say
I was waiting for you to say that. Man, did we ever get like that whole video? Like there was some weird shit that happened down there with them.
Yeah, it collapsed. It imploded.
I know, but we didn't get any kind of footage, right? Like did they?
No.
Not of them imploding, but of weird shit. You know, like.
Oh, of just like weird sea creatures and shit.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, if you think about it, like what was it 1937? We got final confirmation the giant squid were actually real.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the first washed ashore, and I think it was in New Jersey.
Of course, it was in New Jersey.
And so, well, I mean, large whaling port at the time. You figure there was a lot of chum in the water there for it to make its way over. But yeah, no, there's just there's a lot about the ocean that just pretend those are orcas. Yeah.
She's sitting next to a seal.
But no, I mean, it's interesting. It's because there's so much down there that we have no idea. You know what? And Damien, I'm only going to say this because I know you're over there. What's wild is and this, we're going to take this from like, I don't know, PG to PG-13.
We're good. When I go upload it to places, I can put not suitable for 18 and above, or 18 and below. If
you invert a whale in their mating season, which they do on their own, and that whale is eager to propagate, and it happens to be a male whale, you almost perfectly recreate the infamous Nessie shot.
So they're that big.
Yeah, well, I mean, if for scale, it might be small.
Bigger than a horse.
Well, for something 3 times the size of a school bus, something the size of a horse isn't necessarily, small. I'm not gonna.
So Moby Dick might just have been showing off his anchor.
He could have been giving you the salute.
I never have thought about that before, but that is Sadie said it.
Yeah. It very well could be.
Fresh water, but you get well endowed. Yeah. That is something new that has never even entered my 12-year-old
Yeah.
boy
So
mind.
if you go,
Because I do.
so
I
if
have a
you
12-year-old
go-
boy mind.
Yeah.
I
Hello?
need to
Oh,
research
there we go.
this. No, I'm literally like, I need to research this. How big are whale penises?
Well, give me a second here.
I'll give you a second here. Oh yeah. Okay. Because I'm from the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, and we have Chessie, who is the Chesapeake Bay version of the Loch Ness. But I don't
Yeah.
think there's any whales. Hold on. Oh. Let me I'm going to share this. I gotta go over to my messenger. All right, hold on.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it on screen. I mean, it's animals, right? It's not.
I mean, we
educational.
watched it's educational. This is an educational program. People, we're learning about.
Sadie, that's a fact. Stacy's going from little boys to whale engorgements in the same evening.
Okay, hold on. Hold, please. So this is, yeah, there's Nessie. That is Nessie.
The second one I sent you is better.
Well, it had the thing on it, yeah. Shut up.
I mean,
I have to download
it's
that one.
not.
All right.
So I mean, it's
we're gonna remove that
pretty
one.
significant. And that one's for your orca friend.
Okay. So look, I mean, seriously, look at this. This is a new theory. This is for science. It's all for science. It's research. For research.
It's all science.
If that blonde lady, I forget her name, Brittany, you could probably help me with it, Sadie, the lady that she does all the research on the men and the dancing and the weird stuff and the muscles, for research. This can be for research too. But look, I mean, seriously, what if some Brit was just out there, might.
Exactly, Damien. Exactly.
He might have been having some drinks and had a good amount of mead.
Yeah.
And seen this. And yeah. This is, you know what? There's not many times that my mind is blown with different theories and different things. I know a lot. I'm not saying I know everything, but I know a lot. This I've never heard of. This is new to me. I am.
Excuse me for just 1 minute. I do have to step away. I'm hearing a bit of an urgent
That's
issue
okay.
happening behind me. I got to go grab.
I will play our ad. I'm going to play an ad. We'll take a commercial break. Hello, and we are back. That is the Doll's House of Loretto. It is one of our sponsors. It is an amazing place to investigate, and our moderator is back. I love the term moderator. Like, where did that come? Where did you come up with that name, the moderator? Sorry. He's got his mouth full. Sorry. Anyway, Brittany says that's my
sorry
favorite
about that.
location to investigate. And Damien says, would have thought all natural and cold water.
Yeah, bravo to him.
Imagine the
Tell you
size
right now.
in warm water.
Yeah. That's why there's more tropical whales, I guess.
Oh, yes.
But no, the moderator, that actually came from one of our Paracons, actually. So we had a series of guest speakers and presenters that we were having in the lower level of the hall. And one of them canceled last minute. And so we had about an hour and a half chunk of in-person dead air for a weekend that was supposed to be presentation after presentation after presentation. And so Matt and I were just talking, and I was like, get me 3 people. I'll host a panel. And so he was like, well, who do you want him to be? And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't care. Just find me 3 people. I'll fill an hour and a half. You give me 3 people, I'll make them talk for a half hour each.
Yeah.
And so he and 2 other people sat up in front of the group, and I sat off to the side. And I just lobbed questions and just moderated a conversation with them. And so somebody was joking about, like, Ian, like you're made to moderate conversation. You're made to have a show like this. And I just kind of laughed it off, and it was kind of a gag for about a year. Anytime somebody'd have me on the show, I'd say, like, I'm the moderator. Everybody knows who I am. And no one had any idea who I was. And that was part of the funniness of it. I mean, and then it started ramping up quite a bit when I got involved with the Get Haunted Network. I started doing a couple of things with them on their different shows, helping out on the back end, and really just developing some of the relationships over there. And it was right as they were launching the podcast network. I think
that's fairly new. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 or 8 months old. They were just starting to bring on a bunch of shows. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a show. And I was really only joking, and I didn't really intend on doing it. And it was supposed to be a lark. And so I made a YouTube and a Facebook group that said "Get Moderated," just as kind of a joke.
As a playoff of Get Haunted. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just kind of stuck. Because like I've had a couple of people reach out and be like, oh, especially since I lost the old Facebook profile, the old Facebook page, Get Moderated's gone. And I've had people text, I've had people call, I've had people email, ping me on YouTube. They're like, oh, is the moderator coming back? And I was like, I never left. I mean, I was escorted out, but that doesn't mean I left the grounds. But so like, it just really kind of stuck. And I think one of the funniest things about it is, unless I'm really on my show or in that mode, I am unmoderated. Like, I am a bit of an extreme personality.
And that's why I'm bringing this up, because it's very who you are. You need moderating personally.
And what's funny is I actually disagree.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying society would say that.
I get this a lot. No, I get this a lot, where it's like, oh, your wife must have to reel you in all the time. The people around must have to constantly reel you in. And pretty consistently, I say the fun about being around me is seeing how far out I'm going to go. not trying to see how far you can pull me back.
Yeah.
Like just ripping the cord and seeing how far and fast the top spins.
Like in the creek at Sachs Bridge.
Yeah. Like I don't know how many people, like can say that like, I met this person at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. By 2:30, we're packed like it's a 1970s phone booth in this SUV. And then somebody fell in a river.
Yeah.
And everybody still had a great time.
Yeah.
And so it really is like, for me, I think I haven't fought against it, only because I think it's funny, because with the name, I do get to moderate a lot of conversations. I do get to like guest host things and things
And
like
you're
that. Be a
very
part of stuff
capable
that I
of
don't
doing
know.
that.
Yeah.
You're very
100%.
intelligent.
Um,
You're very
and I
intelligent.
enjoy doing it.
You know how to ask the right questions to
Well,
invoke conversation.
Well, I think I think it really just comes from like identifying what people are passionate about talking about first. Like, so many people want to have a conversation about what they want to talk about. And if you go into a conversation like, and this is one of the things I love about being on Compass, and doing that with Russ, is Russ puts new people in front of me that I've never heard of, never seen, never talked to before. And so I'm always eager to find out how they think more than find out the answers to my question. So a lot of the time I'll ask questions in a way that people will have to express a portion of themselves in the answer, in how they answer it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's not like I'm saying like, oh, Stacy, you do a podcast, what's your topics? Right? Like, that's kind of like a boring conversation. Like, that doesn't really get anything going. It's like, oh, I do paranormal, or I do Reiki, or I do, there's this very like,
and I've been I've been a guest on
binary
podcasts like that, where they're like, very binary, like, but
So instead, I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun to say something along the lines of, so Stacey, you've been running a podcast for a while. What is it about that show that really keeps you going?
I like attention. No.
Yeah, right. I'm just a big old attention whore.
I am not going to deny that. I don't own it.
2 thumbs and an attention whore. This guy.
Right? I own it. I will own that. I do. And all my life I have been heard. My mom used to call me, I forget the name. It was some movie star back in like the 50s. And she'd call me her because, oh my God, she's attention seeking. And I was always called attention seeking and drama queen and stuff like that. So I found an outlet that I can do it at appropriately-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, so Damien's got it right here. Right. Not many people are true to who they are as a being, and being uniquely yourself is fresh and not being fake to yourself. And I think,
and that's,
well, that's the key to getting away with being yourself.
I like that.
Is genuinely being authentically yourself gives you so much latitude to be yourself. So I say some wild shit, like some just what should be horribly offensive, wild shit, often, very often. But because I am so really me around the people that I'm comfortable with, they're able to take a bead and be like, oh no, that's Ian saying it. There's a purpose behind it.
We're fine.
Well, no. A lot of the time, it's they see the underlying reason.
Well, you have an intelligence that, and does anybody? I have to stop right here real quick because I'm noticing something, and I'm like, I don't know my family and crap like that, but we have the same ears.
Oh, I got big old floppies.
So do I.
They only get bigger. Yeah, and they aim out more every year.
I'm like, we're elves. We're fairies.
Wife calls me a leprechaun.
Okay. But anyway, yes,
bit
being
racist, but
ourselves.
whatever.
So
And you
anyhow,
are like the farthest from racist that, like, truly knowing you. I don't know you that well. I actually do not. Like, we met at the bash last year,
Well, but so
and I
that's
think we
again
both
one of
were
the things
doing
that I
those
think
same
is
questions, trying to figure out how each other thought.
well, and I think that that's I think that speaks to living very authentically and being yourself. Is very few people come away going, I don't think I know that. I don't think I know that person. Like I spent 5 hours with them and I don't think I know them. When you really are just you and you don't give a shit how that lands,
Mm.
like because I've honestly, like, in the past decade, I have alienated probably a half a dozen people.
In the process of doing
Um,
that, it's hard. I'm more sensitive than you are, I think, but
no. I think it's a blessing.
yeah, I'm
I
trying
think
to
I
think of it that way.
appreciate it. When someone's like, you're fucking obnoxious and I hate you, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. We never have to be curious about how we feel about each other.
It's true. It's
Ever.
true.
Like,
But
I'm still
see,
going to be
you're on a
respectful
different
towards you.
level, whereas, like, I don't think you care if people like you. I still care if people like me, and that's
I
what
do.
my personal
No,
goal
I
is, to
do.
work around, like, wanting everybody to like me.
I love it when people like me. I
But I
do.
got
I
into
love it.
this like not being my authentic self for a while, and
Well,
over the
here's
past
the
like
thing.
couple
Here's the
months.
thing. Now, think of it differently, right? Think of it differently.
Okay.
What do you hate more? Okay. People not liking you or people pretending to like you?
Oh, people pretending. Yeah.
So
But
when
it's
someone's
finding out those
honest,
who pretended you
so when
pretended.
someone's honest, so when someone's honest about how they feel about you,
Hmm.
that's a gift.
Oh, I'm fine with that. If people
Whether
are
they
honestly, yes,
like you or
okay.
hate you. But what
Okay.
I'm saying is
That
whether
makes
they like
sense.
you or hate you, it's a gift and you should
Yeah.
appreciate it, right? So like, oh, Stacy, I can't stand you. Your reception should be like, shit, thank you for not pretending to like me and then fucking up my whole day in
And
3 years. We've been friends for 3 years.
that is the 100%. I'm fine with that. If someone would come to me, and I think you're right. You actually brought something up for me that I needed to hear. Those who say, you know what, I don't like you, or I don't want to associate with you right away. I'm good with. Okay, fine. You don't have to. But the
Yeah.
ones that have pretended,
Mm-hmm.
and then it comes out later that I guess that's what it is. So it's not about being liked.
Well,
It's
so
about
Russ and I had a conversation around this, right?
okay.
Um,
I think I
because
was
he's
just
seen me
watching that
alienate
one.
a few people.
Yeah.
Like he's been ground zero for me doing it. Um, and usually when I find out I'm starting to alienate someone, I'll escalate.
Ashley's here.
Hey, Ashley. And so I'll intentionally press even further
Hmm.
to find out if it's me they're actually aggravated about or if they just got something else going on. And
You see that? I love you, Stacy.
yeah, that's a good feeling. That's happy.
No, love you,
That's good.
Ian. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you.
I don't actually really know Ashley, so
Oh, you
it's
don't?
okay.
Okay. All right.
Oh, it's
You
okay.
will. She's an amazing
I
person.
think she's
You
been
will.
I think she's been in my comment section a couple times in different various shows, but
She's a very real person too. There's no pretending with her. You're going to know who she is right away.
but so what that actually okay, yeah, we met once.
Okay.
Probably Gettysburg.
Probably.
But he watched me do it, and then a couple of months, I think like 6 months went by, and he was like, "Oh, so and so is going to be at this event. Are you going to be okay with it?" And I was like, "Well, why wouldn't I be okay with it?
Hmm.
I don't dislike him. He dislikes me.
Yeah.
Like I don't have space in my like journey through this life. I have my hate roster, like, and it's so small, and it's like,
Yeah.
and everyone on it is super egregious. Like they've they've solidified their spots in there that like other people realistically probably would have killed them. Like they're just in my hate spot. I have like an apathy zone. Like,
Yeah,
and that's the best
I
way to
don't
describe
have a
it. It's
hate
just
spot.
it's an
That's
apathy zone where it's just like
okay.
I don't fucking care. Like
I
other
have
people
those
might say they
too. Yeah.
like you. I just don't care. Like I could forget about you tomorrow and it would not be a problem for me. That's where like the people that are like, oh, Ian, I don't like you. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have to invest any emotion in you. I don't have to like wonder where we're at. I don't have to be concerned about another human being. Yeah, Damien, I'll tell you, man, you get over here, I get over there. We'll definitely tear one up.
Who
Um,
homebrews the whiskey, him or you?
I don't know if he does, but I do. I do all my own.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, no. So I'm an ENFJ. I'm an ENFJ.
I'm an
So I do the same thing.
INFJ. Yes.
Yep.
I'm just like Sadie. I'm an INFJ.
Now it's funny is my wife and I are like the two rarest personality types according to that. I can't remember what the name of that is.
Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs. I couldn't remember if
Yes.
it was the Hobbs one.
And I have access to that test if anybody needs it because I'm a psychologist. I do psychology. I have the official exam. I can administer it.
Yeah, so my wife
And Gary has
is
no idea what we're talking about. We're going to do yours sometime.
I apologize. My wife is the INFJ. I am the ENTJ.
Okay. I didn't think you were an I. You don't seem like an idealist.
Well, that's the introverted extroverted.
Okay, maybe I have to go back and look at mine. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, so the INFJ is an idealist.
Yes.
But not all I's, like not all iterations of I's are idealists.
Yes, are idealist. Okay, you have to have the combination of yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the wife and I represent the two least common Myers-Briggs and the least compatible. Because
Your
we're
wife
both
is amazing. I want to meet her in person and I want to have get photography from her. She's an amazing photographer. Like some of her stuff.
It's wild. Yeah, Brittany, it is. Yeah, it's introverted versus extroverted. But we're both NFJs, which are the intuitive thinking and judging.
Yes.
Damien, whoever can reach them first, I'm not going to put up a fight. It's not worth an argument to me. I genuinely don't care. I have no ego attached to who thinks is in the head of my house.
And that's true. Like you, okay. So outside forces, people that don't know you, haven't really had a conversation with you, probably would say you're an egotistical bastard.
No, 100%. I do that on purpose.
But you're not.
No.
Not at all.
No. I enjoy it. So the majority of my persona is because it's like my outward personality is super persona, right? It's all this it's such a show because I have so much shit going on in the back of my head that I kind of have to present in a low bandwidth way. And the easiest way for me to do that is to just be this like cocky kind of prick.
I never saw that out of you. Maybe you're my very first impression, just that, but I never, after talking to you for a few minutes, I never saw that. So
the bravado shakes and the bravado kind of peels back a little bit if you have more than like 3 sentences with me.
Yeah.
Because it really is just, it's also my way of fake people hate to see confidence in other people.
Mm.
And so the way that I go through my life, and I genuinely do 100% believe this. I let my confidence catch up to my arrogance.
Okay. I like that.
I will go into something completely blind and people will be like, oh, do you know how to do this? Like, no, can you do it? Yeah. Oh, no, I definitely can do it. Well, do you know how? No, not even a little bit right now. And so I'll fire into something with that kind of blind arrogance, but I'll let my confidence catch up because 9 out of 10 times I'm able to do it. And so I just kind of leave that dial at like an 8 or a 9
Okay.
when my brain shuts down, even when there's nothing to do. So yeah, it is a really easy way to alienate fake people.
Because we met at the bash.
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving you names.
What's this?
And we talked about things. It's jealousy from being free of the shackles. Yes, jealousy. Damien, I need to resonate with this like so bad because I guess that's what I'm dealing with, and because of my my Myers-Briggs and my personality, wanting to have this idealist idea of the world and want everybody to believe this freedom like I do, and we're all going to be in utopia and blah blah blah. I get stuck in it, but I don't have shackles. And it's like
Well,
I do, but
I'm calling bullshit. You're like the
okay,
reason the cage bird sings.
okay,
You're out here. You're saying I have this idealistic view that I want to see everybody have the same freedom I have.
or the same freedom
But
I
meanwhile,
believe
you're
in.
talking about how. But meanwhile, you're in the same conversation. You've talked about how you're locked up and you're actually imprisoned by your fear of people disliking you for having the freedom that you want them to have that you think you have.
But that's
So
a recent
realistically,
thing. Yes, you're right.
it's not a
Yeah.
recent thing, though. This
Okay.
this is one of my
Call
favorite
me out. Go
psychological
ahead.
books, right?
I love it.
It's not
Okay.
a recent thing. All right. So when you have you ever let an onion go too long in your kitchen?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever cut an onion that had been gone too long in your kitchen?
Sometimes, yes. I've
Okay.
cut and
So
look
when you
inside
peel
and
the skin off, right? There's that
yeah.
like super dry sections, right? That have just cracked, brittle, died. They're gone. There's no saving them. And then you hit that like weird slimy layer that you can kind of wash off, and you take that one off, and then the rest of the onion seems good.
Yeah, you're like, can I eat this onion?
But then you get all the way down into the middle, and the green stem's already coming through.
Like regrowth.
Yeah. So what you're telling me now is that next layer underneath is where you've peeled off to. It's not that it's a recent thing. You've already shaved off the shit that was on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can identify it.
Okay.
It's not recent. It's been with you the whole time. It just hasn't been on the surface. It's been driving the other layers up.
Okay.
And now it's percolated to the point where it's visible
So
to
it's
you.
coming to what I actually didn't post this video that I recorded today about things coming to the surface. It's so funny. If I posted this video right now, this would make sense. Like things that you've pushed aside and haven't dealt with coming to the surface that you need to release and let go. So it is like everything that's happening in my life right now is trying to make me to my better self and my higher self. It's bringing this wanting to be wanted and accepted to the surface so I can deal with it. Even though logically I don't want to. I want to believe that I am free from these shackles and I want to be this free bird that doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you hit that spot on. You hit that spot. Are you psychic? No. No, you're just intellectual. But
I'm an empath. And it's not even like real empathy. It's like if an AI learned emotions.
Oh, yeah, but it's true. You absolutely you hit the nail on the head or peeled back the layers of the onion. No pun intended. Sadie, every time you comment, it comments multiple times. I don't know what's happening here. Do you see that?
She really just wants to drive the point home. That's all.
Yeah, but she's definitely feeling judged, which not being judgment, but it is. And those are the things that I am personally in my personal work and in my shadow work. I am working on like these things that are coming up. Ashley knows I'm calling her almost every night. We're talking about. She's probably one of the only ones, her and Shauna, that I could talk to about these this inner world of mine that dealing with the I guess the I don't want to say backlash, but the consequences of being in the limelight. Not that I'm famous, but I'm more in the limelight than I have been ever in my life. So it's bringing a lot of things to the surface.
Well, and I think a lot of the time, like I have friends of mine that have become
You can eat on
relatively.
screen.
You're talking to me or him?
Him,
Oh,
he's going like this down here to put the.
I'm the same way. Like I haven't wanted to, but like I still got half that bag of
You
chips.
are absolutely fine. Like we are a laid back podcast.
I know. I wouldn't like it if somebody was like chomping away on my show, so I won't do it on anyone else's.
Okay.
Treat others and all that, right? Regardless if they're okay with it, you still maintain your manners. But no, I have buddies of mine that have become extremely famous. Some of them, they are no longer buddies. But others that have gotten multi-million followers on various platforms and are still in really good contact. And I think the big difference between the two in how they've they both worked exceptionally hard to get what they have, that nothing that either of them has done has been like a fluke or like they took their feet off on camera or their shoes off on camera.
There's never one video. I mean, there always is one video that goes viral, but it's not this random video that just you post one time and it goes viral. There's work behind this.
They were absolute content creators and put in the work. One of them had genuinely had to put the work into getting know himself because he had PTSD and he had a lot of issues for a long time. And so he had sat in a dark room by himself many, many times. And he was very well aware of the demons that were behind his eyes every time he woke up.
Yeah.
The other, on the other hand, I don't think ever once faced what was actually in the mirror. And that's the one that's taken a really ugly turn in how he treats people, what his beliefs are, highly radicalized. And it's so it's unfortunate to watch, right? But it's also a cautionary tale.
It's true, and
you need to
when you're
in the
caught up
limelight,
in the web.
Well, and that's the thing. I've talked to Russ about it too, where it's like, he wants to have the massive following. He wants to like do this as like his like life's passion and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I tell him all the time, I'm like, well, man, like you got to know. And he's done awesome with this too, because he and we counsel each other, right? Like we've known each other a very long time. We're, it was in his wedding. Like it's not like we are just,
you were one of his first friends when he came to Massachusetts, right? You were one of his first. Yeah.
And so I had a talk with him. I was like, look, man, you keep posting your struggle on Facebook.
I had a friend recently said that to me. She's like, stop it.
well, half the people that see it, right, are following it to celebrate in your struggle. And they're the ones that are saying, you got this, buddy. We love you no matter what. Because some of your struggles are bullshit.
Have you told him that? I have. Yes. I've told him that as well. Like we've talked a few times. We talk actually.
If you ever ask him, if you ever ask Russ what I am in his phone, I am not Ian. I'm not the moderator. I'm not Murph. He has a very specific name for me in his phone.
I'm going to ask him tomorrow because we talk every day. Like we literally every morning we are messaging each other.
Yeah.
Like, what's and it's
Um,
for a spiritual level, like what's our spiritual, like we're on this spiritual journey together. So we talk about like, okay, what's going on with it? He always says, last time it was Aquarius is in Gatorade. So he's always asking, like, what's going on with the planets? What's going on with the alignment? And I'll pull him
right.
cards, and him and I. But when I'm having an issue, I go to him. So we go back and forth. So I'm going to ask him in the morning. Um, yeah, that's interesting. Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to put out is this realness and authenticity. But I do feel like since I have, and like Ian says, that layers of the onion, when I get down to that onion, like we've peeled back that one, and that's what I want to show. But like that is my goal, is to be real and authentic. And I feel like I've gotten off of that lately. I really do. I feel like I've had to walk on eggshells and be careful what I say and be careful what I do, because this is how I'm going to climb up that ladder.
Well, all right. And so I'll say this. This is for anyone that's like starting the journey of authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that we're all already on the journey. It's whether we're actually being honest or not. Like we're on the journey, like of authenticity, no matter how you want to frame it, no matter what you want to do, you are on a journey of being your authentic self, regardless, because
All
inevitably
of us are.
you're going
Yes.
to be confronted by your real self.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some of us want to get there and not hate the person we're looking at.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
sometimes we got to hate us because we're
no,
human. We live a human
no,
experience.
no, no. You know
No?
what's wonderful about yourself is you're the only person in the world that can genuinely, with 100% confidence, provide yourself with unconditional love. That's it. You're the only human being that can do that.
It's true.
So my suggestion to anyone that's in this process is stop being worried about what you say, but focus on how you say it.
Okay.
Because again, Russ has been with me for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I have said things that should have started fights to people, that should have pissed people off, that just didn't, because it was
Yeah.
how I said it.
Well, and that's in my, like, I'm a therapist and I work in therapy. Like there's client to client, whenever I can say things to them like that. I can challenge them. I can like say these things that without, sometimes without feedback, without too much backlash, but
And I'm sure
the
you've had
reason why
clients,
we do that, because we build rapport.
but here's the thing. If you're on your authentic journey, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
genuinely pushing towards being your authentic self. First and foremost, honesty and integrity is the key to it. You'll
Mm-hmm.
never find your authentic self if you can't be honest to strangers.
True.
That is just like step one. Like if you're in a situation and someone's like, "Hey, do you have a light?" and you're on a dark alley and you say, "Nope, I don't smoke," but you have a lighter in your pocket, you're fighting it. If you say, "I do, but not for you," that's a different thing. Like
That's different. Yeah.
that's being true. I
Very
mean, it might be
his
a
authentic
dangerous
self.
way to be your authentic self, but it's true.
Mm.
And so
Okay.
knowing how to say things is way more important than knowing what to say.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've had clients, right, that you could just be like, "Hey, seriously, jackass,
I have, and
what are you
I
doing?"
actually have one I'm working with right now, and I do that with this client because I've actually been in her shoes, and I will call her out, but in a way that she knows that it's coming from a place of love and compassion, and like I've been
Because
there.
you're more concerned about how you're saying things with her than what you're
Yes.
saying, because probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I am occasionally wrong, not often, but occasionally wrong. She actually doesn't care what you have to say because she actually already knows what you are going to say because she already knows the answers to everything there. So if you don't say something in a way that she'll actually tune into, what you're saying doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're
Am I
absolutely right.
close?
You're very close. She works in the same field. She knows the
Okay.
answer. She knows what's going on, but she will also, like, one week we're good and I'm calling her out and we're doing these things where we're doing the real work, you know? And then the next week she's evasive, canceling sessions.
Yeah.
But
I
offer
really
her
isn't.
grace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a difference between offering someone's grace and enabling them too. So like that, and I mean, that's one thing that like I admittedly struggle with a lot. I'll enable somebody for entirely too long.
I do it too.
But I usually do it under the auspice of it's not my struggle.
But
like
let's
my
go back
fight.
to our nature as humans. Gary's like, I'm out of this conversation, but
I gotta pee.
okay. Our nature as humans,
Yeah.
we're hedonistic in our nature. Like, we're animalistic, hedonistic. We have that part of us where we're all for ourselves. You talked about that earlier about individuality. We're all for ourselves. Like,
well, for our autonomy.
Yes.
I when I hear hedonistic and all for ourselves, I think selfish.
No. I'm talking survival. I'm talking evolutionary psychology. Like,
okay, yeah.
Our brains are programmed to survive.
Yes. Yeah.
So we get in these traps that we're in because we're in evolutionary time still with our brain where we just want to survive, and we look at everything as threats. Not all of us, but every single one of us sometimes gets into that space. Psychologically. You agree or not disagree?
I don't know. Again, my brain's not like, so my brain's a little different. I told you, I have autism.
I know, and that's you do,
ADHD.
and that's what I love. I have ADHD, but I don't have autism. My son does, and I work with kids with autism, and they think so differently, and I think that's going to change our world. But
careful what you wish for, because I saw a meme earlier today, and
yeah, but society knows this already. That's why they're shoving fucking devices in their faces.
Well, but
sorry, that's my own opinion on this, but
I mean, they've been doing that for decades. There's nothing new there.
Yeah, that's society that's pushing this. And
but no, I saw a meme the other day. It's like when your buddy stops because you both got superpowers and you told him you're going to go fix the world instead of save it. That's how my brain works. Like, if I got superpowers tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to fix all this.
That's me. And that's what I'm fixing. Like, I think the same way. I just might be doing it differently than you.
You know what's awesome? We don't have superpowers. So realistically, we're not here to fix the world.
We all have superpowers. That's my idealist, though. I'm an idealist.
Yeah, I've called my autism a superpower before. It doesn't mean it's actually true. It just makes me better than other people. See, this is the shit that makes fake people really upset because they don't understand the parody.
Does anybody else see the resemblance between E and I? I think we're related. I do.
I could be. My family breeds like fucking rabbits.
And my family's from up that area, and I don't know my father, but he lives up there in Vermont.
I have over 60 cousins, like first cousins.
Got any Smith in your family?
I don't think so.
I do have Murphys in mine, by the way.
It's Murphys, Goodwins, Oldhams, Whites.
Any of those? I have Murphys in my chart, but
fucking everybody does. That's why nobody hates on Ireland except for Donnie.
No, mine are Mick Murphys. So we're Scottish.
So, funny enough, Mick Murphy is actually Irish. O Murphy and Mac Murphy are Scottish.
Oh, it's Mac Murphy. Yes, it's Mac Murphy.
Oh, okay.
I have Mac Murphy. Yes,
All
that's what's in my chart. But Damien's a Smith.
Yep.
Oh.
Mine,
Where was your daddy on
we
the
were
night
originally-
of?
Oh. Where was your dad tonight? Yeah. I'll tell you. I don't know where he was, but he probably had cocaine on him.
My father was, I don't even know if my father's real name is his real name because I can't find him anywhere. He was a con artist. So he sold people truckloads of shit that weren't really real.
That could have been my grandfather.
Okay.
He stayed spry and active for a long time. So then he just up and died. Yeah, no, he was a con man. He did his fair share of stealing and false trading. Yeah, no, he actually worked for Prudential, and got fired for having half a truckload of office supplies go missing.
Ooh. See, my father was a truck driver.
So was he. He drove the truck for Prudential.
There you go. Oh, goodness. See, we are
Indeed.
related because I'm just sitting here. I notice things. I notice that we do have very similar features.
Well, the ears are from my father's side.
That's
my
from my
grandfather,
father's
what
side
I'm
too.
talking about, is on my mother's.
Okay.
But yeah, do a 23andMe or Ancestry. We'll
I
find
did
out
do
real
Ancestry.
fast.
Yeah.
Then
I
we'd
did do
already know.
Ancestry.
We aren't siblings.
So you already have Ancestry. Okay.
I'm already on there.
So we would have figured it out. Okay. Yeah. We're not siblings.
Nope.
Sounds like you guys need to check Ancestry. We just said that.
We did just compare to Ancestries. What's ironic though is I have so many cousins and so much weird old world drama in my family.
Anything from North Carolina?
No, we never made it south. We've only been here a couple of generations.
Okay. Same here, but we're more Baltimore, North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, my cousin wasn't sure. Well, none of us were really sure our cousin was actually related to us. Because in the late 70s, early 70s rather, my aunt had a miscarriage. And then my aunt went west. She went like out west for a few months and came back with a 2-year-old.
Oh.
She was gone for a little over 2 years. Immediately following a miscarriage. And a divorce. And then showed back up with a 2-year-old. So for a while, none of us talked about it because we didn't realize it. And then we started doing some math. And then we were like, hey, kind of weird for her to get pregnant that fast, have a kid, but also disappear in the middle of it.
No,
right?
I would say that miscarriage is probably not a miscarriage.
Miscarriage was a miscarriage. We thought she came back with a stolen child. Like everybody kind of thought, because she went a little bit kooky. And so my cousin actually had us do, she asked me if I'd be willing to do it, to do an ancestry to find out if we were actually related or not, because she was concerned that she was a stolen baby.
My grandmother was a stolen baby, but that's another.
The family disowned us.
Oh.
Like her mother.
Native American? Was it Native American or you don't know?
What?
I said, was it like a stolen from a tribe, Native American? You said out west, so that's why.
Oh, no. Like my cousin, like she's very white.
Okay.
Thought she may have been stolen. Like she may have snatched the kid and went west with the kid.
Ooh.
Yeah, wild drama. So we tell a couple of my aunts, like, hey, this is happening. Her mother loses her shit, says she's out of the will if she does this. Like, everyone's freaking the fuck out. My aunt that I get along with really, really well is like, if you do this, I'm only going to talk to you after it's done. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything beforehand, but I'll explain anything that you're confused about afterwards. Well, come to find out, the man that my cousin was raised by turned out not to be her dad, but we already knew that. This other guy was her dad, right? This other guy was her dad. And so later in life, she met him. Come to find out with the ancestry kit, he's not even the dad. It's some other completely random guy here back in Massachusetts.
What?
Yeah, it was a fucking wild story. It blew up. But yeah, very Irish family. So we sow our seeds in all directions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
same here.
long story short, I might be related to anyone.
Yeah, we had borders constantly. Like looking back in the records, like because we came over in Baltimore, and there's always borders. We always, you know what a border is, right? Like,
Yep.
someone came
Transient.
over the boat, we took them in, transient, whatever. There was always a border living in the house in the census records, and yeah, so
That's
we,
too
we never
funny.
know. But somehow my father ended up, or at least who I think my father is, ended up in Vermont. um, but I'm not going to tell the story on here, but my mom had multiple partners during that time that would have been my birth. So I really don't know.
You know what?
Really
She was
don't
living her
know.
life. She was living her
She
life.
was. She
Just
was.
living it up.
We're raised Catholic. We're Irish Catholic. She got married to her first husband. You don't divorce, but they could never consummate the marriage because my mother had a medical condition
Oh,
where it wouldn't allow
taking root.
consummation or consummation, whatever. So, but he was too embarrassed to allow her to go and see someone to have the surgery that she needed to be able to do that. So it was annulled. And then when that happened, she went and got the surgery, and the person who did the surgery was her first. This was the 1970s.
Thanks for fixing it. You want to take it for a test drive?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, like, I'm in the process of writing my trauma book, so that's
No
part of it.
shame.
That's going to be in
There's
there.
no shame in that, though.
There's not like my mom was, and then she became a very sexual creature. You know,
Can you blame her?
and it was the 1970s.
On top of it all.
Yeah, the 1970s. Single woman, like.
And her first
I don't
husband,
know if I
Irish
blame her.
Catholic.
Oh yeah,
Oh, she wasn't missing much there anyway.
almost. Like when my mom was left-handed.
Yep.
So I don't know if you know how that goes. She probably was in school in the 1960s, 1950s.
I'm 100% aware of how that goes. Yep.
Yeah, so she like was the devil. Like she was considered the devil because she was Irish Catholic and was left-handed, and the nuns would smack her hand.
Yep.
Like I had to write, even in what she died in 2001. In 2011. In 2011, she died. I had to write a letter to the Diocese of Harrisburg explaining all of this just to get her last rites.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because she had gotten a divorce. She did end up getting a divorce at one point.
Well, an annulment or a divorce?
No, she did end up getting a divorce from my father. My father.
Oh, okay. So the church didn't absolve the. Okay.
No, the church never just dissolved that wedding. The first one they did because there was no consummation. Is
Yeah.
that the right word? Am I
Oh,
saying that right? Okay.
she went on to get a divorce later in life.
And then she had a divorce from my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's wild. They wouldn't give last rites?
It was like, it was one of those things where like the Catholic Church moves everything so slowly. So,
Yeah.
and there was a big transition. That was the year that a new pope had taken over, all this stuff. So we had to, it was just a process. They said, oh, it's just a process. I just need you to write a letter. So I don't think it really cared whether I did or not, but it was like, there's doctrine in the Catholic Church where you have to follow. And that was
Oh,
one
no,
of the,
I was raised Catholic. I was raised.
okay. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's doctrine and the Catholic Church doesn't change and it's all about doctrine. So
Was she officially excommunicated, though?
I honestly don't officially know, and I don't think they could ever find those records because we grew up in Maryland, so our diocese was Baltimore diocese, not Harrisburg. So I don't know if they share records, but I'm the one that her and
You
I both,
initiated it to make sure.
we initiated what was happening because we're like, is she able to? Because she was worried. She was on hospice in my house, and she was worried that she wasn't going to get her last rites. So if we hadn't said anything, we probably wasn't even worried because I don't think they talk at the diocese,
They
but
do.
because we said
They do
that.
now. By 2001, they absolutely were.
Yeah. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I would even have record to find out if they did, but I was told that she was excommunicated. That's why that's why
A lot of
like
them
after
were.
my son was baptized, my daughter was never baptized. My son was baptized.
Well, you can get excommunicated for that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Well, you could have before. They don't excommunicate anymore for that stuff.
Yeah,
But,
they don't. Yeah.
I actually can still be excommunicated because I took a position of faith in a different church.
I probably could because I'm a Reiki master.
Well, that's more spiritualism than an actual
that
doctrine
is
of religion.
spiritualism. I'm a registered yoga teacher.
I joined a Protestant church.
Oh, okay.
I'm a
I've
minister
never
of
joined another
Protestant
church.
church.
Okay. I did get baptized in a I don't know, it was one of the modern churches with all the flashy lights and like screens.
Jesus.
Like
Oh yeah. So it could have been what's the big one?
it's called Living Word. It's called Living Word.
Okay, so that was probably
a community church.
Presbyterian or Universal, New Universal.
It's New Universal. It's like a Universal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I went. I was in. I think I was pregnant with my daughter when I went in the waters.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, technically she was baptized. You're good.
And I recently got baptized again.
It's like second degree of baptism.
Yeah. I got baptized by a Mormon.
Ooh, careful with that one.
Yeah, but it was I took it, and he knew. We talked about this. Like this was more of a shamanistic experience for me. So we kind of made it into that where I was connecting to the earth, and we did it in a creek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Mormons have some wild lore. Mormons are the Salt Lake, right? Like they're big out in Salt Lake.
I was found under an outhouse. Snarly Yow. You need to meet Snarly Yow. He do you know what the Snarly Yow is? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I do not, but I will say this. There's been more kids made under outhouses than found under them.
There you go.
But no, Mormons are Mormons of Latter-day Saints. Yeah. They're the ones that think that black people are just angels that didn't decide what side they were on in the Great Fall.
Oh, seriously? I've never heard that. Oh, I'm
Yeah, that's
sure
part of
about
like the original origin story here. Yeah, Mormon's got
I
some
didn't know that.
wild. Yeah, the Book of Mormon's
I
got
just
some
know that
in it.
my Mormon friends were from Utah.
Yeah.
So they had multiple wives.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the polygamy and everything like that. Yep.
Mhm. Yes.
And a lot of them, they will, and not all of them. And I say this quite candidly. I don't think every Mormon is like a misguided pedophile, but there's large swaths of that faith that marry multiple 14-year-old girls with parental consent. Because I believe Utah's it's 14 or 16. I can't remember.
Can you hear me? I lost access to my mic for a second.
I can hear you.
Okay. It came up on the screen that I lost access, but
Yeah, 16 years old with guardian consent.
oh, I know. I had my neighbor was Mormon from Utah, and lots of things going on with that. And she was of the Church of Latter-day Saints, and she had the girls, and they were almost like they were talking about being betrothed, but she was kind of like trying to fight against it. So that's why she was here and not in Utah.
Okay.
So it that was my introduction into that religion. So
Yeah.
Ashley, see, and Ashley has a Mormon family.
Like,
There's
did
a
you
cult
adopt
part
them?
of
Or
it.
are they actually family members? Yeah.
Well, it can be. I actually, as a therapist, I once had a client that came in that was Jehovah's Witness,
That's
which is
another one with
very
some
rare that they seek outside counsel. So I
extremely.
was like, I was at my supervisor. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't know what to say because I'm all about empowering women. And like, but it was a daughter and a mother, and there had been some drama with father and like infidelity,
Yeah,
adulterism. So, without getting too much into it, but um, that was a hard case. That was a hard case to deal with.
I'm sure.
Like, how do you handle that?
Well, and how do you not alienate anyone that might ever talk to them about this trip? You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that to me, I think is something that like I don't think I'm capable of juggling the responsibility of on something like that. Because like I mean, I grew up like ooh, growing up Irish Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
You don't go to the shrink.
No.
And like and when I finally did, I referred to my shrink as a shrink to the shrink the entire time. Like I never referred to them as a psychiatrist, psychologist, or
Yeah.
I believe a psychiatrist. I never referred to them as a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
It's always shrink, which after like a significant period of time talking to them, they let me know that that's kind of a derogatory term.
It is, but I never take it as that. But
I didn't realize that. They're like, yeah. So when you say it, like, do you think it's a positive thing or a negative thing? And I'm like, oh, I never thought about it like that.
yeah.
So if somebody told you they went to see the shrink, where's your head go? Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the weight of being the essential ambassador for a highly skepticized form of medical treatment already, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I can do it. I also
It
like
is.
think that I think that there's now. Do you believe that there's like an expiration on counseling, like on how many times it's really worth going?
Uh, my no. Yes
Not
and
trying to get
no.
you. I'm not trying to get you to talk yourself out of a job.
No, yes, yeah, no. Our role is to talk, like we go into it like I want to work myself out of a job. I don't want to be here with you forever. That's our goal. So that's not the thing. I think it comes down to like, no, there's not an expiration on people. Like, it depends on the diagnosis. Like, there's people who have personality disorders. They will need
Mhm.
therapy for the rest of their life, 100%. So there's no expiration on how many times they go to a therapist. It's like those type of people who have personality disorders or very severe mental health disorders, CPTSD, not just PTSD, but CPTSD, chronic
Mhm.
PTSD. They need therapy probably for the rest of their life. They will need a counselor on and off for the rest of their life. There's also like comes down to like who you collaborate with, who you resonate with, and who you like. Sometimes we go through multiple counselors, but I do feel like some that don't ever, especially some of the personality disorders. I'm not going to name the ones that
Right.
are always trying to blame others. Um, will never accept the counseling. So it's if you're not willing to do the work that goes into counseling, then yes, there's an expiration. But if you're willing to do the work and you need someone by your side for the rest of your life to have a session with weekly, but it's going to help you be successful, absolutely. Stay with a person weekly for the rest of your life. There's no expiration. But if you're not doing the work, you yeah, there's an expiration. There's no hope.
You're just waiting. You're wasting everybody's time.
You're wasting everybody's time.
And so being like a systems and like a tool-minded person, I'm always curious on that question. I ask every psychiatrist, every psychologist, every counselor that I have the opportunity to ask, it's like, is there a shot clock? Because I find it terribly interesting that I'm coming, and again, this is definitely fed a bit by the autism, a bit by the Irish Catholic,
Mhm.
and a bit growing up blue collar.
Oh yeah.
If I take my car to the mechanic and I need them
Can
to
I
fix
stop
it,
you just for a second?
yeah.
We're at pretty much like the 2 hour
Oh,
mark.
okay, we're at the end. All right.
No, no,
Yeah, yeah.
no. I don't. We don't have to end. We can keep going. But if we're going to keep going, I have to empty my bladder.
Oh, you know what? I will. We can cut loose.
Okay.
It's actually been 2 hours. I didn't realize that.
I know. Can you believe that? But you and I, we
Um,
did that at the bash. We sat here and talked. We sat there on that bench and talked for probably 3 hours.
yeah, and
Right now,
that's like my
I
happy
told you,
place.
we're not even listening to the people who are watching us.
I have not even. So I'm
I
not gonna
know. I
lie.
didn't look at the comments.
The comment side has been off screen for me.
Oh, okay.
For probably an hour. I think Ashley was the last person I saw say something a while ago.
So yeah, it's never been 2 hours serious. It is. It went by very quickly, and I just have one question to ask you before we end,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's something that's been on my mind throughout all this. Have you ever had an IQ test? Do you know your IQ?
I do.
Okay. Were you willing to share it or not?
I am not.
Okay. All right.
Um, out of all the things I do that makes it difficult to make friends, that's one of the biggest.
Okay.
So I keep it to myself now
So you're
because
not
it's
gonna.
either like it's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people
Okay.
because they think that I don't know. This has just been my experience. Um, a lot of people a lot of people know I'm intelligent.
Mhm.
I'm a smart guy, I'm a smart ass or genuinely intelligent depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Um, I've had conversations with people around this before and it never ends well. Um, so so no, I'm that's one thing
Okay.
I'm not really comfortable
No, it's fine. Can I ask you this? Are you part of the Mensa Society? Or
since I was 13.
okay, that's all I need to know because it is like I am, and that's like I think that's why we resonate. That's what I was trying to get at. Like we do resonate on that level.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate that. I love like our conversations. This happened for a reason tonight. You know, you actually helped me tonight with that onion.
Good.
I don't want to say philosophy. What is it called? The word I'm looking for? The
Analogy.
analogy. Thank you. The onion analogy.
Or if we were talking religious earlier, we can use the term parable because it is actually appropriate.
Parable.
Huh?
It is. You know, and then we even could circle back to what we started talking about in the beginning when we were talking about like the different religions and how this organized it came back to organized religion and
Mhm.
how it's all a ideal of power. But that's a whole nother 2 hours.
It's a symptom of humanity.
I'm gonna have you on again. We should do
Okay.
this, or we're gonna chat. I'm just gonna call you and chat.
Fair enough.
So I appreciate
And
you coming on.
I'll hang out backstage real quick. I'm gonna go after it
Me
wraps,
too.
though. I'll hang
I'm
out.
gonna run my extros. It's called our outros. That's the word, outros.
Yep.
I may be intelligent, but I have dyslexia.
Hey, it works.
So I'll run the outros. We'll go to the bathroom, wait backstage. Thank you all for watching and commenting. I appreciate all of you have been here. I know we've been ignoring you for at least 30 minutes.
I know. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad about
We're
that.
so sorry.
Ashley
We got
and
wrapped up
Damien
in
and
our.
Sadie,
I
you guys,
know.
I thank you for the patience.
Yes. Thank you all for being
Stay
here.
blessed.
And have a wonderful evening. And don't forget to fill your cup first because you cannot pour from an empty